You got my glasses?
I don't have them.
Hey everybody, this is Double Dog _ 88 going live now. Where is all the devil pups? Let's have that conversation, everybody. Is there anybody there? See if you can see me. Hello, hello. This is Devil Dog _ 88. Let's have that conversation. 88 days. Continuing from earlier today. Let's have that great conversation. Where is Nancy Guthrie? Where is Nancy Guthrie? So we are here trying to figure out from our earlier conversation with talking in reference to some of the things that why certain things happened earlier on SI's channel where he took down that video. If you guys caught SI's video, he said it yesterday that he had gotten a call from Mike. Falls is in the house. Good to have you, Falls. Celtic Pet says, hey. So just like we talked earlier today, apparently Mike had called SI and told him that and I'm going to just paraphrase here, but that he had literally a phone call from Mike, Richard's half brother, stating that he had an attorney and he didn't like basically what was being said because basically not to give Richard a platform, so forth and so forth. And he did not like the fact that, people were looking at him like he was doing something that was wrong. He said he basically is not all there. What's going on, April? So that's basically what happened and what we talked about earlier. The key though is do you really think Mike is literally someone that you think is telling the truth? And the more I thought about it, for someone to come out and call a streamer and say, hey, this guy is not all there, that's why I haven't talked to him, literally. So, just because someone goes ahead and tells you that speaks a lot of volume as the person telling you that Richard is just not all there. So Sleuth went ahead and took it down, but then, of course, he said he's going to be putting it back up with a disclaimer stating that, these are all just his opinions, which I totally agree. I think that's a wise move. But, when you look at more into that and you look at it, it does make sense that literally if Mike's going to take the time to call, chances are he probably doesn't want anything associated with Richard, to be honest. Thank you, April. Appreciate that. I will look. Paul says, I truly think he's telling the truth. I do too. The more I think about it, I mean, who's going to go out of their way to go ahead and literally, bring that up to a streamer to say, look, man, I'm just giving you a warning. My attorney told me not to say anything, but I'm just going to tell you, if you keep giving him a platform, you're going to find out the hard way why I haven't talked to him for 30 years. It's a long time, folks. So, yeah, I think we ought to start focusing more on Richard and what his angle is. Now, do I think that we should still, the FBI should still talk to him? It's not a bad idea. And it's not because of anything other than maybe he could shed some more light into what's going on with Richard. What's happening to him? What the hell is going on in his brain? He could help out literally the FBI by giving them some information. You never know. April, Richard is my number one suspect right now. Maybe others are involved, but I made my mind up. Yeah, I kind of seen it that way as well. Although Luke is just a little bit ahead of him right now because there's just too much coincidence going on with Luke. But Richard is right there, in my opinion. And it's only our opinion. That's it. Paula's in the house. Speak with the entire family. That should be done. No doubt about it, Falls. We should always speak to the entire family. They should all be spoken to because of the fact of what all their roles are, and literally because they're the family. I mean, who else is going to know Nancy? And even if you ascertain, who could have been looking at Nancy, was there anybody that was literally focused on her? Was there anybody that she might have, you know, literally made angry, or is there anyone that lately had said something about her? If not for just those reasons, and I'm sure those things came out. I can't imagine the FBI or Pima County Sheriff's Office wouldn't have done that. But then on the flip side, they need to talk to TC too, because he was the last one to see her alive. So I think that they definitely need to talk to TC and find out everything else he knows. They need to interview him again. Because it doesn't make any sense that there's no pictures or photos or anything of TC dropping his mother-in-law off and or leaving that area. Jody says, it is crazy, though, to think that Richard sent Brian an email to that neighbor. No doubt. I mean, he did say on Salutes Live that he had sent Brian in a lot of his literally paperwork that he had put together, his original copies. What he didn't tell Sleuth was that he actually sent it to the neighbor so the neighbor could give it to Brian Eaton. Now, we don't know how he sent it. He never explained how he sent it to the neighbor, whether he put it in the mailbox, whether he put it on her front door, or whether he gave it to her in her hand. We don't know that for sure. But one thing we do know is that Brian Eaton got those paperwork. Once again, it's like Richard's looking for literally a platform to spread whatever he wants to talk about. There's no evidence for Richard. Paul says there's no evidence for Richard. What do you mean by that, Paula? What do you mean there's no evidence for Richard? Explain that to us so we're a little bit more clear, please. Jody from neighbor's house. Just investigates. Hello all. How you doing? Just investigates. April, hi, Justin, welcome. April says, hi, Jody. Falls, maybe he has obsession with SG. He said it was to send a message to SG. That is correct, Falls. April, Paul, hi. Falls, I didn't say that. Yes, Richard, there's more proof here in Arizona, not in the apartment in California, says Jody. So, going back to Paul, there's no evidence for Richard. Can you explain a little bit about that, Paul? There's no evidence for Richard. So you're saying that Richard has nothing to do with this? Oh, I'm sorry, Paula. Are you saying that Richard has nothing to do with this? Paula said there's no evidence. I understand there's no evidence, but no evidence for what? That Richard had anything to do with this. I don't think he's involved at all. Okay, so you don't think there's any evidence that Richard did anything? Well, the evidence is not so much the evidence of whether he did or didn't. It's what Richard has literally claimed, Paul. Richard has claimed literally that his half brother did this. And then he claims the fact that he said the who, what, when, where, why, as to how they did it, where they did it, where they put her, and how did they go ahead and dispose of her body. Those are pretty specifics, right? So here's how you find out if Richard has anything that merits the truth. You go and you check that lake. Pima County Sheriff's Officer, FBI checks the lake and see if that body of Nancy is laying there. That's how you confirm if something is either valid or invalid. None of that has been confirmed at all. Well, no shit, none of that has been confirmed. I get that, Paula, I get that. I get none of that has been confirmed. That's why you would want to confirm it, right? You would want to confirm it. If someone's telling you something and they give you specific details, then you want to confirm it so that you know if it's valid or not. Of course, there's nothing out there in the ethosphere that is saying literally, there's nothing out there saying who did it. No one knows who did it. But the way Richard was talking, he sure made a lot of accusations. That's what we're saying. And in some of those accusations that he made, that Richard made, literally, Paula, some of those accusations that he made, he gave some pretty specific things that supposedly his half brother did. So now the question becomes, how do you prove if he did that or he didn't? That's what I'm saying. Anyone can make accusations. That is true, Paula. Anyone can make accusations. But if you go and you check that lake, and let's say you see those 3 bags wrapped up the way he said it was, guess what? Then it's not an accusation no more. It is now evidence, and it is now credible because he's the one that told you that story specifically. That's all we're saying. No one's accusing anybody. We're just saying if they check the lake and the body's there, well, guess what? Maybe Richard is telling the truth. April, Didi, I send you side by sides of Richard and Porch Guy and also Dog Walker. Thank you so much. I'm going to look at it right now, April. Appreciate that. Paul said, based on a cipher. Look, the only person who's going to know how to read a cipher, Paula, is a person who wrote the cipher or a person who was taught literally how to decipher a cipher. So the reality is that literally that's going to be the only person that's going to be able to decipher that, right? That code, break that code, figure out that burger chef or whatever. The problem is that he could say anything. Yes, you're right. He could say anything. But when he gives you specifics, literally, you can verify those specifics or whether they're true or not. That's what we're saying. I get it that he got it from his cipher, but he made the claim. He said that. Richard's the one that said all that. The only thing that's being said is, does he have validity to what he said? Does he have any credibility? Well, go check the lake. Let's see if the body's in the lake. Because if it's where he said it was supposed to be, guess what? Now he becomes credible. That's how you validate that. At least that's how law enforcement validates it. I stick to the facts that are known. Well, and that's why you probably will get nowhere because you have nothing. You'll never be able to validate anything. If someone told you that they have a tomato over here and an apple over here, but you can't see the apple, the only way you're going to know is what? Is to go look and see if there's really an apple over here, right? That's how you validate that. You don't just say, well, I'm just going to believe that there's only a tomato and not an apple because I don't see an apple. No, you're going to go check to see if there's an apple there. It's common sense. It's common sense 101. Family last to see her. Well, no, we know that TC was the last to see her. We get that. That's what we've been saying. Oh, April, I'd like to see that. Paula, April says, Paula, we really don't know any facts. DD is a former law enforcement. He is giving you input based on experience. Pamela says, hey there, double dog in chat. What's going on, Pamela? I'm not accusing anybody, nor am I saying anybody is guilty of this heinous crime. Understand that. And you're right, Paula. You can give your opinion. That's fine. But when you state that there's no facts, yeah, you're right. There is no facts. But how do you get a fact? How do you get a fact from a comment? Well, the comment that's being made is specific in detail. So if you go and you check that specific detail, guess what? Then it becomes a fact. Paula says, I feel like you're not being attacked, Paula. It's just the idea that if you can literally confirm a detailed information and you can positively confirm it, especially like how Richard said it, then guess what? It's not just information, it's fact because he said how the body was wrapped, where it was put, where it was buried at, underneath the water, with the trash bag, 3 trash bags, in the netting, etc., etc., etc. So if they go and check the lake and it has 3 bags in there and it has body parts of remains of Nancy, guess what? That information that he just gave, that's fact. So the only way to confirm it is you have to go check it. That's all we're saying is to confirm it, you have to check it. If you don't check it, well, then you're never going to know if, in fact, it's literally legit or unlegit. And if it's not legit, then you push over, literally, you get out of the equation, Richard, and you just throw him by the wayside because he will then be considered to have lied in what he has stated, right? And that's all we're saying. And I get that's your opinion, and that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. The only thing is that what I'm trying to explain to you is that if you're able to confirm something that someone tells you, that's how you confirm whether it's a fact or not. Is by checking. You know what I mean? He can say the family is a cult. Richard can say the family's a cult and they have done all of these unalivings for the last 30 years, right? And that's okay. You can't really prove that unless you go back and find all these bodies, right? You can't really prove that. No matter what, it's going to be very hard to. But when Richard gives you a specific that they buried the bodies under the water in plastic bags, in netting, with weights, by the dam, and you can find that body there, guess what? It's not just information, it is fact. Now the FBI will need to talk to him and possibly his brother and see what's going on, or his half brother. That's all I'm saying. I'll just leave it at that because I think you know where I'm going. Jody, I agree, Falls. Paula, absolutely, you can give your opinion here, no doubt about it. Jody says, well, Falls, if FBI says it. Right, Jody, not numbnuts. April, I also found out Nano can shut FBI up with info because It is his county, his jurisdiction. I told you guys before, the sheriff's department has a lot of power. People think that because you hear the letters FBI that supersedes everything, and it doesn't. The sheriff has a lot of power in the county. They just do. They've been the longest law enforcement in the history in our country. Fall says, can't the feds override that, April? No, no. I know you asked April, but they can't override him. They can eventually ask to, if it becomes a federal issue, they can take it over. But if it's a county issue or it's, something with that realm, they can't just come over and take over unless literally the sheriff says, we need your help. Otherwise, they would have done this from get-go. Fall says, gotcha. Jody, I believe the guy, whoever he may be, will come out, reach out to someone, especially someone on X. I'm just guessing he might use some social media, but he'll be yelling from the mountaintop, I'm innocent, no doubt. Well, he said that. I had nothing to do with this, but I can tell you how it all happened. Right? Remember that? Richard said, I can tell you all this stuff, but I had nothing to do with it. But I'm going to give you specifics that only somebody who was there or saw or was told would have known. Right? I mean, it's just that simple. Either he was told, he was there, or he saw everything that happened. Because the details don't lie. Now, the details may not come out to fruition, and that's okay. That just means that's one less person we got to, worry about. Paula says, April, I thought so too. Then I looked into it. Paula says, FBI should have taken over as soon as the first ransom. I totally agree, Paula. Totally agree with that. No doubt about it. They should have took over. The sheriff should have allowed the FBI to step in because he knew he had a lot of people that were inexperienced. And there was no way that they were going to be able to handle a case like this. It's impossible. You're talking about a police department with very low experience. Just like Sergeant Cross said on the interview room. If you get a call from Pima County Sheriff's Office and if somebody responds to your call and you get someone to respond, you're going to get probably a 10-month seasoned officer. 10 months. Not 10 years, 10 months. Think about that for a minute. There's academies that go longer than 10 months. So the idea that they would only have 10 months, that sheriff should have been asking for help from the FBI from the get-go. No doubt about it. Agree with you 110%, Paula. Jody, yes, Didi. I meant to say the dog walker in video should reach out, even if not Richard, to proclaim his. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you didn't commit something and you felt you are being accused of something, kind of like what Mike did. Mike said, I had nothing to do with this. His half brother said, I have nothing to do with this. He literally said that I did this and that. I can tell you right now, I had nothing to do with it. I haven't even talked to the guy for 30 years, and there's a reason why. That's what he was saying. So I agree with Mike. Unless you have something valid to show, then I just can't buy it that Mike had anything to do with it. So therefore, if we go and they look at that lake and they rate the lake and they check it and they don't find a body, then they know that Richard was just full of shit. But if they find the body, now there's some questions that need to be answered, right? That's how we do it. That's how police officers do it. That's how the law enforcement does it. Paula says ransom received via email would have allowed FBI to take over the case without permission. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. In all honesty, that's just not how it works. And look, if it was that simple, the FBI would have took over this case at the very beginning. Okay, at the very beginning. Now, I have heard a lot of prior law enforcement and prior FBI agents literally say that the FBI was chomping at the bit to take it over, but they couldn't because the sheriff had not asked them for their help. I've heard that. And that is literally the truth. That sheriff has to request help to get help from the FBI unless it's a federal case. This is not a federal case. Nano's ego is so big, he doesn't want anyone else to get credit for that. That's pretty much what it comes down to, in all honesty. No doubt about it, Falls. Hey, bro, I think the department is low experience, but I think Nano isn't. He knows what he can and can't do, absolutely. No doubt about it. 110%. Nano knows his power. And so does everybody else who understands law enforcement, how it works. They know what he can and cannot do. That's why you never seen the FBI take over that case. They had no jurisdiction for that case unless Nanos called for their help. There's no leadership there. Absolutely. I mean, when I watched the interview room with Sergeant Cross, he said, literally from Pima County Sheriff's Office, he said, there's no confidence in their sheriff. They voted literally something like 241 to 0 of no confidence. That speaks pretty much volume. Now, do I think he's going to get forced out? Absolutely. And do I think he did it to himself? Absolutely. Absolutely, without a doubt. You can't just, you can't lose the faith of the people that you represent and expect that you're going to continue to stay there. It just doesn't work that way. I just looked at that clip you just sent me. I just looked at that clip, April, and that is pretty spot on. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Hopefully, if he leaves, next guy will hand it over to the. Absolutely, no doubt about it. We can only hope. April, I went ahead and looked at that picture you sent. That's pretty spot on. The shape and everything of that head, from the porch guy to the person you put side by side, it is definitely looks very, very, very the same. To be honest. The head shape is so similar. I mean, literally similar. The oblong of the head, April, is so similar. Thank you for that picture. I appreciate that. Jody, now I wonder if the neighbor has video cams and where that would have captured Richard delivering the letters to Brian. To Brian makes me think they came through United States Postal Service. It's possible. It's possible, very possible. But do you think the post office is going to go ahead and put someone else's name? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how that works with the post office, to be honest. Bill says maybe too little too late, right? April, credit goes to the juice. I just screenshot it. Well, good job, the juice. Appreciate that. So that picture was taken by the juice, another streamer that was out there, I believe, yesterday with Alex. Kudos to you, the juice. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you. So that's really what you're kind of looking at. Very similar, April. Yes, no doubt. I mean, it's one thing to have a round head. Some people will have the block head. Some people will have kind of a, I don't know, a circle head. But his shape is so oblong, kind of like a standing egg, if you will. You know, it's so oblong that you can almost distinguish those type of looks if you have the right person with the right body shape, with everything else, you can pretty much almost come pretty damn close. It is very close. No doubt about it. Absolutely. And the neck, I noticed too. Yes. Yes. Kind of long. I mean, I could see how that's a very very close match. The sad thing about it is there's so many. And I shouldn't say so many, but it seems like every perp that we've talked about, or every person of interest that we have talked about, has literally had so similar looks. Not quite like this one, but there's a lot of similarities to the ones that they have. Don't forget, click like if you like the like, subscribe if you can. If you want to be a part of making everybody smarter, click like and subscribe. Click that heart buttons, everybody. Send the emojis. Let's get that going. Carolina girl says, I'm late. Who are we comparing looks to? So I guess, well, I got this one from April, but she got this from the juice. And it is so identical. When you look at the oblong head, look at the oblong. I mean, even the eyebrows are well kept nice and neat. This side by side looks very, very similar, in my opinion. No doubt about it. Now, could it be? Sure. Could it be someone else? Absolutely. Absolutely. But this is what April just sent that she got from the Juice's channel, and just wanted to compare that. I wish the photograph lady would have come back into the chat, no doubt. The build also, dog walker. Exactly. The dog walker has that same build. Looks like his face is a little bit older, and this picture looks like it's a little younger, obviously, but they do very look similar. You very welcome. TJ. TJ's in the house. But that's what was said. So that's what literally SI is going to do. He's going to remodify that video, put it together, put it back up, put some disclaimers on it, because he feels he didn't do anything wrong. But hindsight's 2020. He wants to make sure he protects himself, which I totally get. TJ says, my money is on the inner circle. Yeah, no doubt. And if you could bet on that big inner circle, you're bound to hit it right with all them people of interest. No doubt about it. It's just interesting when you lay out all the dynamics of each person, what their need was, what they were hoping to get, what is their deficiency in life, like what would they need this for? What would be their gain and their loss, the risk versus the reward? I mean, they all have something to gain and they all have something to lose. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Paula says, do you think Derek Kalela is actually involved or just a moron, a moron inserting himself? That's a good question, Paula. That's a very good question. Um, in my opinion, I mean, he's already getting ready to go to trial for his stupidity of trying to, capitalize on somebody else's misfortune. But in my opinion, it really comes down to if we can find some type of link that correlates literally Derek Kalela from California and maybe TC and or LD. If we can correlate that somewhere, how he fits in the everyday passing by with these other individuals, then yeah, that becomes a lot more solid that he would be someone who very well could be part of this puzzle. I always believed there was three, no more than four, but always believed there was three, no more than four people that was involved in this. And he would definitely could very well be one of those people. That just remains to be seen, to be honest. But good question, no doubt. And do I think he's inserting? I don't think he's inserting. I would say, honestly, the one who really looks like they're inserting themselves in everything, it seems like it's Richard that's inserting himself into all these dynamics, right? Like he's putting himself because he wants that attention. But as for Derek, he literally could be one of the suspects. No doubt about it. One of the people of interest. For sure. Falls, TJ, all the players are on the table. It makes my head spin, says Falls. April, Alex also questioned neighbors. None who the dog walker, and one neighbor confirms he does not live there and was never seen walking a dog. So here's the kicker. So this dog walking individual happened on the 9th of February. The 9th of February was the deadline I'm sorry, I said the 9th of February. It happened on the 10th of February. The 9th was the deadline for when they had to come up with that first ransom. They didn't come up with it. In the morning of the 10th is when you saw this individual walking the dog across. Okay, just walking the dog across. He had a little smirk on his face. I did catch that. Okay. But here's the thing, that photo had not come out at that time of him walking. It was only after he had come through there later is when they posted that picture of that individual. And I don't think he knew they were going to do that. So that opened the eyes of a lot of people when they started looking back at who was around, because we all know a perpetrator always comes back to the scene of the crime. No doubt about it. TJ says Derek is involved, but to what extent, I'm not sure. Yeah, that's fair to say, TJ, in my opinion. No doubt about it. Bill says the news cycle changes so quickly. And I think that's a lot attributed to nanos and the lack of information that they're giving the people, no doubt. TJ, I'm guessing four. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's either going to be no less than three, but no more than four. Because the more people you have, the more chances you have of somebody going ahead and getting stupid. And by stupid, I mean getting drunk, getting high, getting loaded, or whatever, and then start talking. The more that people know about what happened, the more is probably likely to come out. Evil people in this world, no doubt about it, Bill, for sure. Paula, the music scene can be the connection. That is very true. I mean, you have Tommaso and his two other band members. Now, there's a lot of connections with them amongst Luke and possibly even Kalela. It just really depends that we can literally put that pieces together because that's what's going to speak volume. But you're right. Fall says A and T haven't made the last property tax payment. They have until 5/1. Payment has to be timestamped by 5 p.m. on the 1st. Yeah, or it'll go up 16%. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. TJ, Savannah knows, in my opinion. I think maybe in her heart of hearts, in her gut, I think she may have a inclination of what happened or who's responsible in her heart of heart, in her gut. And maybe that's why she didn't want to stick around. She had to leave because maybe she couldn't stomach it no more. You know, she couldn't just keep quiet. So finally she said, I'm just getting the hell out of here. It's very probable. Allie says, hello, everyone. Welcome, Allie. April Falls, good info, no doubt. So, yeah, I mean, there's so many people, but here's the thing you have to look at just the little things, the little details. And I've told everybody this before. In law enforcement, it's all about the little details. Hey, Marianne. Marianne is in the house. Little details speak volumes, especially if you can validate those. That's the whole key right there. Because everybody's known to forget about the little details, but those details add up and can literally solve a piece of the puzzle. How long do you see yourself covering this story, DD? Just curious. Honestly, until they find something, to be honest. I mean, for me, it's personal for me. I've had people, some person of mine go missing, and I understand that, it's sometimes, you don't think about it every day, but when you do, it really kind of makes you wonder what really happened. So there is an interest for me in this case because I can understand and relate to losing somebody, not knowing where they're at, and almost like they just fell off the face of the earth. So I can tell you, I'm going to stay on this. I'm going to keep looking at other cases. There's a couple other cases that I'm looking at, one in Ohio and one in California. Um, in Ohio, it's the Tepe family, the husband and wife that were unalived by the ex-husband. And in California, you have the Shields, 37-year-old lady named Joanna Ruth Shields that was just found here recently, I believe April 9th, by some hikers. So I'm definitely going to be covering more stories, but this one's not going to leave. This one will always be one that I'm waiting to see what the end results in. Probably because I want to know, because investing a lot of time in trying to figure this out. But thank you for that question. I appreciate that. Paula says, in my opinion, if family is not involved, they are negligent in the lack of security. Yeah, Paul, the one thing that I see, I mean, they had 9 to 11 cameras outside the house. That's just outside the house. They had several cameras, according to Nanos, inside the house. But they had no subscription for cameras. Now, I'm not sure what the hell do you have cameras if you don't have subscriptions for them, you know? Makes no sense to me. So did somebody drop the ball? Absolutely. Do you think that the family is kicking themselves in the ass? Absolutely. Do you think there's a lot of hesitation and frustration and that feeling of we dropped the ball? Absolutely. That family that they're going to have to deal with that for the rest of their lives until this thing is resolved. And even then, after that, they're still going to feel a lot of how they could have done better, in my opinion. TJ, I think the flowers were a message to her because on the 11th, Savannah posted the family video of her mom, her and Annie at the flower bed. Very true, TJ. Bill, great. Thank you. You very welcome, Bill. No problem. April, Luke's mom was or is a therapist. Luke's mom is a therapist. I found that interesting too. Yeah, yeah, I can see where you're going with that one, April. I can see where you're going with that one. TJ, yes, April, she is. Marianne, there are so many theories out there. I am so confused. I get it. I get it. Paula, Luke's mom also lied in her interview with Brianna Whitney. Yes, she did. Absolutely, she did. She lied and misspoke about a lot of things, to include she didn't know who Nancy was. She didn't know that Nancy was the mother of Savannah because she just didn't know, even though they lived 7 years there and only like three houses down. But then on top of that, then later she says that, yeah, that she knew who Nancy was, almost like contradicting her own comment and statement. So, yeah. Alley Cat's in the house. So, yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. I don't understand how Lucas still has. Yeah, no doubt, right? How does Luke still have a license? Says Falls. No doubt about it. Paula, she did. She lied, and so did Luke for that matter. Luke lied several times, and the things that he said, that even the things that he was honest about, were so incriminating. Like when Brianna Whitney asked him, did you tell the cops when they first pulled you over, when they walked up to your car, did you tell the cops this must be about Nancy Guthrie? Or is this about Nancy Guthrie? They didn't even ask you, and you come out with that. That's not something that's normal, everybody. That doesn't happen very often, to be honest. TJ says, I believe the most logical and first theory is usually the correct one. That's what they say. Paula says, exactly. Falls, why didn't she have a Meta Alert necklace or bracelet? I mean, she had her watch, they say, but yeah, when someone is that has medical issues and has a lot of what she had, you would like to make sure she has every chance and opportunity to go ahead and literally be able to call for help if she needs to. Why didn't she have a Med Alert necklace? I have no idea, Falls, in all honesty. Like I said, I'm sure the family's kicking themselves in the ass. Bill says, exactly. Regrets. Though they're going to have a lot of regrets, no doubt. Alika says, I wonder if they'll figure out who was originally paying for a subscription and how much time had lapsed. No doubt. It's a very good point. Very good point, Alicat. Melissa, hey, what's going on? Melissa's in the house. Allie said she watched the Today Show every morning too, but never once seen that was her daughter, Luke's mom. No doubt. No doubt. Marianne, Dee, just for information, Brian Enton did an interview with Bob Kruger today. It was interesting. I will check it out after the live. Thank you, Marianne. Appreciate that. Paula and Luke's lawyer said in Brian Enton's interview that Luke's mom met Savannah and Nancy at the grocery store. You know, when people keep continuing to tell untruths, sooner or later, it's going to catch up to them. And that's what we're seeing now in all this type of covering concealment, this untruthfulness. You're seeing all play out in front of you. No doubt about it. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that. Melissa, hey, Marianne. April, Richard brought up he was in therapy but cut ties. What if his apartment in California is a decoy and he is in Tucson? I mean, several of us have been saying that already, April. Myself, SI has been claiming that it was just a ruse, that was just something where he could use as a, that's where I live, that's where I'm at type of deal. Yeah, goes without saying. But then you ask the question, somebody who he claims to live with very minimal amount of money, you would think, how in the hell would he afford to pay for a place that he's not even staying in and still, get around? Makes your head spin. Melissa, I've said that too, April, no doubt. Ellie's, yes, it was Marianne. I just got done watching it a little bit ago. April, hi, Melissa, and all. Thank you for being here. Bill, a far fetched question, but have you heard they've tried psychic? I did hear that, Bill. And I'll be honest, I'm not one of these psychics or medium people. I don't get into that side of information gathering, if you will, for a better lack of words. But I will say that at this point, I'm willing to listen to anything. If it makes sense, I'll listen to anything. And if I was in charge, I'd be checking everything within reason. That's what I would do. So I would definitely listen to any information that's out there, regardless of where it came from. Carolina Girl says, Sleuth going live tonight at 11 o'clock. I hope I can stay awake to see it. Yeah, that's a little late for me. That's a little late for me. Is that Eastern time 11 or is that Tucson time? Arizona time? Bill says that's insurance. That's insured. No doubt. No doubt. Robert, Eastern time. Yeah, see that. I mean, 11 is 11. I mean, we know how it is on the Eastern side. No doubt about it. Thank you, Robert. But that's what I'm saying. I mean, there's just too much there that you have to unravel when it comes to LD, in my opinion. There's too much that you have to literally sit there. When you have to explain yourself on so many different fronts with so many different issues going on, that's never a good thing. Never is that a good thing, in all honesty. Because if you're sitting there having to literally defend every front, every aspect of something that you have done or said or, whatever, the idea is that it's probably not going to look good for you no matter what. It's one thing to say, well, he was there, but we don't know what his role was. It's another thing to say he might have been there. It might have been his car they used. Where was it? Why did he make the comments? Why did he say what he said? Why did he lie? Why did he say he didn't know Kayla Day? So forth and so forth. There's so much there that, once again, I don't think he helped himself at all by going on Brianna Whitney's crime interview. So that's literally what we're dealing with. Literally. The other thing too is, now you have the new player in this whole thing, and the name was brought up, Webby, Hubie Webby, Hubie Webby, uh, William Webby. Uh, he's another character in the line. He is the one that's actually married to um, what's her name? Kayla Day. This Webby character. I mean, trying to say the name is just a killer. But this guy here is named William Webby. This guy here. And he's another person in now the equation. Another person that's in the chat. Or not in the chat, but is in the topic of conversation. He was the one that was literally taking people, as reported, was taking people across the border, bringing them across the border, taking them, and he had gotten into an accident because Border Patrol was chasing him, and he hit another vehicle head on. And next thing you know, an 80-year-old became unalived, and the passenger was injured, and he went to prison for 11 years, approximately. So, yeah, that's interesting. Yes, Marianne. William, they pronounce it Webby. I think the HUE is like it's, I don't know. I've heard it Sloop call him Webby. I always thought it was Hubie, but it could be Webby. I don't know. But that is the spelling. Thank you, Marianne. Allie, oh, by the way, I found two Facebook pages of William Webby, and one has the last post in 2023. Interesting. I was just talking about opening up an account so I can go ahead and start looking into stuff like that. I just talked about it with my wife about opening an account. Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate that, Allie, for that information. Bill says, thanks again for staying with the story. See you soon. You got it, Bill. Thank you so much, my friend. Falls, that's a bad player there. Paula, do you think Nancy was alive when she was taken from her home? I think she was alive, but I think it just went wrong pretty damn quick. Pretty damn quick. And I think she became unalive pretty quick in this whole thing, and that's what made everything so combobulated. Everybody panicked, and it could have been for multiple reasons, and it could have been not purposely intended for her to be unalive at that moment she became unalive, but just the idea, the hypothesis of how it could have happened, and why. Maybe she was feisty. Maybe she was fighting back. Maybe she was screaming from a car. I mean, yelling for help. Maybe someone backhanded her or someone said, "Hey, shut that bitch up, or she's going to get us caught," and went wham and hit her. Her heart couldn't take it. She ends up going ahead and passing away. Next thing you know, they're realizing she's not breathing, and everything goes into chaos. And now everything that's happening after that, it's all on the fly. Their decision making is on the fly. And when your decision making is on the fly in something like this, you're going to make mistakes. A lot of mistakes. You know what I mean? Because you're going to make mistakes because the plan that you had set is no longer ineffective. Because the person that, and I believe this was a literally a kidnapping gone wrong. I honestly believe that literally it was all about the money. And once she became unalive, there was no way to show a proof of life. And you have to show a proof of life. Everybody knows that. Every criminal knows that. Every person who does kidnapping knows that. Every law enforcement knows that. You're going to have to show a proof of life if you want money. And they couldn't do that. And that's why we never, not one time, ever got a proof of life. But to answer your question, Paula, I think it was pretty quick after she was taken that she became unalive, in my opinion. But it wouldn't surprise me if she became unalive in the house. That would be far fetched either. That would not be far fetched that she became unalive in the house. But I would probably lean more that right after she was taken, she became unalive. No doubt. TJ, another person in the circle. Yeah, right? Like we don't have enough. Jenny, it's highlights day. I-35 so far. Awesome. Awesome. Click that like, everybody. Subscribe if you are watching. Be a fan. Subscribe. Be a subscriber. Be in this chat. Help all of us, with your help, become more smarter in everything that's going on. If you like the chat, subscribe for free. Doesn't cost you anything. Welcome. Hit the likes, everybody, says April. BG says, GA, we literally need a stenographer to keep up with all these characters. You're not only kidding, my friend. And welcome in, Jenny. We are not only kidding, BG. Allie says, did I email you the article on that there was a passenger in Webby's car that night, and he only got like 4 years? Yeah, I did see something. In all honesty, I did. So I'm gonna go look real quick, but because I did see another person had left me a message or a email, and I'm looking at it right now. And yes. Let me see. Okay, not that one. No, I don't think so. Ellie, Lisa. No, I did get it. Shuby, District Attorney, Tucson, Allen, smuggler sentenced to prison, Department of Justice. Yes, I did get that one. And I did receive this other one that you sent. Wow, absconded, secretly released. Interesting. And he was fairly young when he went to prison, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. He was only in his early 30s when he went to prison. I want to say he was like 31, to be honest. I could be wrong. Well, according to SI in his live last night, he said that he thought he was out for a week or 2 weeks before Nancy went missing. That's what he said, to my understanding. Marianne, that's what SI said. A week to 2 weeks before she went missing, he was released. I don't know. I haven't really checked that background. I just took it at face value. Did I email you the article on that there was a passenger in Webby's car that night? And I don't think I got that one. I got the other two from you, Elisa. I got the other two, but I didn't get that one. So if you got that, send it to me. I'm really curious. But that would just mean that the person who got the 4 years was probably either just a passenger that was with Webby, or someone that actually talked and gave up Webby to save his ass. That's usually how they do things. First one who talks gets the better deal. Fall says, Shuby got supervised release probation 8/11/25. There you go. So was released under supervision, which that just means he has to check in and check pretty much wherever he goes, he has to check in and out by certain times. But technically, he is released. And that was as of 8/11/25. Thank you, Falls. Appreciate that. So then that would mean that he was out before Nancy was taken. That's like almost 4 months, roughly, give or take. That's it. And I tell you what, when people get out of jail, they don't worry about going back. They worry about how they're going to get back to where they were in life before they went to jail. And sometimes people will do stupid things or be a part of stupid things just to make the quick dollar. And I'll leave that for whatever it's worth. April just posted my email. If you got my email, if you don't have it, write it down, put it in your contacts. It's right there. Thank you. Appreciate that, April. Quentin Brome. Maybe they couldn't show proof because it couldn't be encrypted like the letters could. It's possible, Quentin. It's very possible. It is very possible. Marianne Falls, thanks a lot. Just another one to add to my list. No doubt about it, Marianne. Elisa, yes, that one. Okay. Tracy is in the house. Tracy asks, Jenny, you here? Is this the one live? This is it, the one and only. Welcome, Tracy. Falls. I saw something from a sportman Nate. Four sticks Nate. He posted on X that he received a 47-minute phone call from Pima County Sheriff's detective. And his name was Four Sticks Nate. Interesting. Send me that info if you get a chance, whenever you get a chance, Falls. Just whenever you get a chance. Very interesting. Carol, hello everyone. Good to have you, Carol. Appreciate you being here. Jenny, DD88, I emailed you a highlight video that YouTuber put together. It's really good. Don't know if you can say the channel name here. Let me see. Go ahead and say the channel name. It's all right. Go ahead. I'm not about trying to keep other channels from getting any type of recognition. If you want to say it, go for it. Let me see here. I'm pulling it up right now, Jenny. Yeah, I got a video that you just sent. I'm not sure who it is though. Um, it doesn't have a name on it. Is it the faithful servant? 777. Is it the faithful servant, Jenny? 777. You're more than welcome to say it in here. That's fine. I don't get any. It doesn't bother me. Other channels are mentioned on the lives here. But thank you, appreciate that, and thank you for that YouTuber that you put together. Video that a YouTuber put together. It's really good. April, Jenny just gave the streamer credit. Amen. Nothing wrong with that, my friends. Nothing wrong with that. I don't worry about who gets, you know, I care about when you're using someone's sources, but I don't care about when it comes to like spreading other people's names. That doesn't bother me. Not one bit. He said he can confirm that Kayla Day's dad has been questioned by the Pima County Murder violent act investigators in regards to Nancy's disappearance. He said he can confirm that Kayla Day's dad has been questioned. If you could send me that, Falls, where that information is at, I would really truly appreciate it. Thank you so much, Falls. Appreciate you. Thank you. That is big news right there. If you think about it, Fall says he said he can confirm that Kayla Day's dad has been questioned by the Pima County Murder Violent Act investigators in regards to Nancy's disappearance. Very interesting. Hey, dog in chat. Fan is in the house. Good to have you, Fan. Fan is in the house. There's that email, everybody. April just posted it again. There's that email. TJ William was released on 8/22/25 according to DOJ website. There it is. William Webby. Yep, that's the one I just shouted out. You got it, Jenny. It's Faithful Servant 777. Faithful Servant 777. Appreciate that. Good luck, Faithful Servant. Appreciate that video. Very good video. This one right here. Watching it right now. Thank you so much. You got it. Fall says co-defendant with Hubie was Robert Evan Butcher, 26. Okay, we're going to have to Google that name, all you double pups. Robert Evan Butcher, 26, was the co-defendant with Webby, William Webby. So look up that name, Robert Evan Butcher, and see what you can find. He's 26 back. Well, he's 26. So see if you can find any information. I'll do the same when I get off the live. Robert Evan Butcher, 26. Thank you, Falls. See, that's the thing about devil pups. They are tenacious in their investigations, and that's what they do. They look up everything. Falls says, will do. April, DD emailed in chat. Okay, let me see here. DD in chat. Okay. Hang on a second here. DD, email in chat. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Kenny Disback. Anything new, dog? You know what, Kenny? It's just, seems like a couple of names are coming up here and there, trying to figure out who and what. I mean, we just got another name just a second ago by Falls, and it was a co-defendant that was with William Hubie when he had hit the other vehicle and unalived a 80-year-old woman that sent her to prison for 11 years. Now, the person that was with him only got 4 or 5 years. Can't recall if it was 4 or 5 years. But his name is Robert Evan Butcher, 26. So the devil pups right now are literally looking up that individual and see what they can find on him. It's that Tenacious investigations, no doubt. April, you guys are awesome. So much info, no doubt. Jamie, I'm home here. I was being a mom and cleaning. Nothing wrong with that, Jamie. Takes a lot to be the mom, no doubt about it. And it sure as hell takes a lot to be a cleaner, too. Falls already did. He lives in Florida now. Go figure. Another Floridian. Jamie, hit that like, please. And sub. It's all free, everybody. Let's see what we got. Kay's in the house. Sorry, just came in. No problem, Kay. I have to rewind since I have no clue, but thank you for all you do. Thank you, Kay. Appreciate you. Falls appears he has got his shit together. Okay. Well, good for him if he does. Maybe it was just a one-off, Maybe he just made a mistake. It happens. That happens in life for everybody. Paula says, my message disappeared. Paula, it shouldn't have. No, I don't know anybody didn't do that. So resent that message, and if it disappears again, it's something dealing with YouTube. And here, everybody's voice matters. No doubt about it, Paula. Try sending it again. Elisa, great job, Falls. Jamie Cook, that's weird, Paula. I have accidentally done my own. Good job, Jamie. Jamie is a moderator. Falls, thank you. You're very welcome. April, Paula, post it again. YouTube is being weird again. No doubt, Paula. Post it again. Do me that favor, please. Jamie, I'm a mod. Did you mean that I would love to, but want to make sure you meant it? Yes, absolutely. You are a mod. You are a mod. Congrats. You do a good job. All of you guys do a good job. We'll be rotating mods so that everybody gets an opportunity. But you are a mod at this time. Thank you. Appreciate you and everything you do. Not my first rodeo, says 315 in Bow, Washington. You guys must be East Coast. We are very much East Coast. How you doing? Not my first rodeo. Falls, I sent that link, DD. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. BG, congratulations, Jamie. Yay, what rules do you all have? Just no hatefulness. That's it. The rules, you'll get contacted and they'll let you know. We'll let you know. You just do what you kept doing, and that's good. Thank you so much. BG, thank you so much. April, Jamie, respect, DD, and chat. Carol Burton, congratulations, Jamie. April, our rules. April, absolutely. Jamie, thank you. Carol. So we're getting somewhere. We're getting ahead of the game in a lot of areas, everybody. Carol says, we love Jamie. That's sweet that you will rotate, give others a chance. Absolutely. Absolutely. Falls. Oh, look, Alley Cat is also a mod. Did we already mention that Robert Even Butcher Jr. was the passenger? We just did. Falls just brought it up. I think it was Falls just brought it up. Was the passenger in the vehicle, and he pleaded guilty and was associated with the 2015 Arizona human smuggling case. Yes. Yes, we did. And not only that, but he was out probably 4 months before Nancy went missing. Before Nancy went missing, he was out. Let me rephrase that. Webby was out 4 months before, literally, Nancy went missing. For sure we are, says Jody. Jamie, appreciate you. I can't be on sometimes. Marianne, good night, Falls. Welcome, Ellie. Go Mary. Jamie, April, I get that I'm alone from 8 a.m. till 2 p.m., but I'm still be on. You do the best you can, Jamie. Do the best you can. April, Allie, come to the blue line. Mary, hi all. Mary's in the house, everybody. Click that like, everybody. Click that like. Do me that favor. Send your hearts. Send your emojis. Get that algorithm going. The more algorithm that thing is going, the more likes we get, the more you're going to have more people coming in. And that's going to only make us all smarter and better. Mary says, hi, all. How many are you guys thinking took Nancy? 3 to 4, in my opinion. 3 to 4. I know that there's a couple individuals in here right now that said they thought that there was at least 3. Some said at least 4. And I'm right there with them, no doubt. 3 to 4 is my take. Jamie said, hi, Mary. Mary says she thinks there's only 1. Very well. Only 1. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. Hey, if I am wrong, I'll be the first one to tell you, good job, Mary. Alley Cat says, hello, Mary. Mary says, hey, Jamie. Jamie, same, I think 3 to 4. 3 to 4, no doubt. That'd be my take, in all honesty. Not my first rodeo. 2 people can keep a secret if one of them is dead. That's very good. I like that. Not my first rodeo. Definitely don't want too many people, but you got to have enough to cover all bases. Whether that's the driver, whether that's the lookout, whether that's the person in the front or the person in the back, to me, it's almost crucial to have those areas covered, especially as we saw on Nancy's cam, all the cars that were going by during that time. So you had to know who was coming. Yeah, who would nut job Richard work with? Uh, I don't even want to put those names out. I would tell you the people of interest who I think would have interest with him would probably be the guy in California, would probably be the son-in-law, could be LD. I mean, there's 4 right there. Pick your poison. Jamie said Mary. BG, I'm leaning towards 3 to 4. There you go. BG was the one that said 3 to 4. No doubt. No doubt. Marianne says 3. That's a good number right there. Jamie, or I can keep a secret and 3 unalive. That's yeah, no doubt. You may have to unalive 3 just to keep a secret, no doubt. April, mods, if you see withheld comment, allow it. Mary was just withheld unless it's not nice. YouTube is being stupid. Well, there you go. We had a couple incidents already, even with who was it? Was it Jenny that had an incident with that just a minute ago? Not my first rodeo. Do we think the crew was hired? That's a good question because some people in other streams have come up with the fact that they believe they were hired, and some say even possibly TC hired them, in their opinion. My opinion is probably it's very probable, no doubt about it. It's very plausible that they were hired. I mean, they had to have known the area, they had to have known the terrain, they had to have known what was going on. So yeah, I could see that it had to be somebody that knew the family or they knew Nancy herself. No doubt. April, I went to do it. Crazy just said hi, Alley Cat. Jamie went. I think so. April, yes. So that's what we got. But there's another player in here. But it looks like, I think if I recall right, Fall said that that other individual that only got that did the that basically plea bargained or whatnot, he got only 4 to 5 years. So hey, kudos to him. Kudos to him. And he said he looks like he's doing well. So hey, shit happens to all of us. Paula, I have typed my comment 3 separate times and all have disappeared. Okay, hang on a second. Let me see. Have typed my comment 3 separate times. I'm not. There's nothing in here. Has anybody? If you guys have, has anybody blocked anything from Paula at all? I just gotta ask because she says she just commented 3 different times and they all got blocked. That doesn't make no sense, Paula, because I was reading all your stuff and nothing seemed inappropriate to me. Alley Cat, hi Jamie. I think my service was frozen. Do me a favor, Paula. Go ahead and like log out and come back in and see if that changes everything. Do me that favor. I know some people have talked about that before when they've had issues with their YouTube. They had to log off, come back in, and then everything seems to be adjusted. Try that. April, Paula, I am not seeing it withheld. It's not withheld at all. I just looked myself. Paula, I see you, but not disappearing comments. Jamie, Ellie, nope, not me. I haven't done a thing. Okay, no, just do that. Try that. Try that, Paula. Try to log off and then come back in and see if it'll fix itself. We had this issue happen the other day. Remember when people were saying stuff and then it was getting deleted or lost or whatever the case may be. Jamie said YouTube occasionally does it to me. Sorry, I forgot about using appropriate words. YouTube is very sensitive. I'll be careful. It's an old saying about two keeping a secret. And if one is unalive, my bad. That would make sense. I got you. Thank you. Jody, may have to reword, Paula. Sometimes YouTube moves for certain words. Try rephrasing that. If you first go out and come in, and then try to rephrase that if you're still having that problem. But I can assure you, no one's deleting anybody's comments. At the end of the day, I'll know that before anybody gets deleted. To be honest, Alley Cat, I see Paula saying okay. Yeah, I saw that one. I see Paula's okay as well. Okay, here we go. I'm stuck on two things. Mary says I'm stuck on two things. One being it may be a parasocial type thing, and the other being an RN thing. Both solo situations. That's very possible, Mary. I'm not big on the parasocial thing because that was I thought that was something that Dr. Q brought up in JLR's live, and I'm not I just not I don't see the parasocial thing, to be honest. In my opinion, it could be, but I know that even Dr. Q has pulled away from that thinking because I heard him on one of JLR's interviews that he said that he no longer thinks it's a parasocial parasocial, that he believes it now looks pretty clear that it was a kidnapping gone wrong. So I don't know. But as for RN thing, I mean, once again, all I'm going to say about RN is just that to prove that he is not legit in what he says, or to verify or unverify his comments, all they need to do is check the lake, and that's gonna literally answer all the questions right there. No doubt about it. April says sensitive is better than stupid. Laughing out loud, no doubt. Marianne, I don't see Paula. Hang on a second. All opinions matter here. We appreciate you all, no doubt about it. Mary says, interesting. Yeah, that's what he had said. And I heard him on a live with JLR talking about that he wasn't like keen on that parasocial thing anymore. Unless I misunderstood, but I think that's what I heard. But as far as the kidnapping gone wrong, and it may not even been the kidnapping gone wrong. It was, he said something, and it had to be something with, I don't remember. I can't remember, to be honest. So I'm not even going to say. I just know he did say that he pulled back that thought about the parasocial thing. Jamie, hit that like and sub. Everybody sub. If you are not a subscriber, please subscribe. Join the Devil Dog _88 and be a devil pup. Help us all get smarter. Doesn't cost you anything. Alicat says, it was interesting how Mr. Clementi said in his interview regarding blood spatter that Mrs. Nancy face had to be close to the porch. Yes, within feet to bleed that way. Then the pattern changed. Absolutely. I found uh, Mr. Jim Clementi to be very, very knowledgeable in the blood splatter theory. And hey, if there's somebody you want to talk to about blood splatters, it'd be him, no doubt about it. It was very good. Mary Marion, will it ever happen checking the lake? You would think sooner or later somebody's going to have an aha moment and say, let's just do it to shut everybody up. Because they're not going to say it to do it to be nice, right? So I could see them saying, let's just do it to shut everybody up. And then they do it, and God only knows what they find. But I think it's going to happen sooner or later, because I think the pressure is going to be building and building, especially if they're not given anything. You know what I mean? Not my first rodeo said RN would be such an anomaly statistically, which is why experts are dismissing his possibility. That makes sense. I could see that. I could see that. Not my first rodeo. Interesting, no doubt. That's very possible. Quentin, exploring with Jim. YouTube has a video where he checked drug drug the lake. I don't watch it though. Drug the lake. Yeah, I don't think he checked the lake. He might have. I know that Sleuth did, but even Sleuth says it needs to be checked, and it needs to be checked by divers, because there was a lot of dark areas that you just couldn't see nothing. So that would necessarily need to be done by professional divers to go in there and do it. I mean, every major department has one, and if they don't have one, they got friends who have them, and they would gladly do it, especially in a case like this, dealing with an 84-year-old woman that was taken from her home. That's just, yeah. But I could see that. Mary says, initially I was convinced it was a jealousies co-worker or someone in the media against. Yeah, I mean, I could see that, Barry. That's not out of the norm. I mean, we hear it. Hell, you remember when the issue happened with the, and I know it's different, but with Tanya Harding and that other skater, and they whacked her in the knees to get her out of the Olympics so she could have a better chance of winning. Um, it does happen, and when it happens, it's big news. That cat, what's its name? A pain in my ass. That cat. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah. Jim just asked, stick to lake drivers need to search it properly. Amen. Capture says, pet him. He just took off the other way. Here's the problem. We got some cats outside that just has some kittens. And so we can't let him outside because we're afraid he's going to attack the kittens. And that's why we don't want to go ahead and take that chance. Thank you. Appreciate that. But I would pet him, but he's already on the other side of the room. Oh, my Lord. Hey, hey. Ah. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, he doesn't want to come to me. I tried, Capture. I tried. J Bug, Nancy Kerrigan. That's it. When Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Hardy, you remember when that happened? They couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe that somebody would actually do that. But yeah, Gregory Walsh. Why? Why what? Gregory Walsh. Jamie, oh man, no boats allowed there. Dang, yeah, Jamie, there's no boats allowed. No boats, no swimming, no nothing, only fishing. You cannot go into the water. Just their stinking rules. Why? I have no clue. They say something about toxics in the water or something to that effect, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody had pointed that out. Alleycat says, I really hope authorities powers that be allow the Cajun Navy to commence searching. In my opinion, never too late. Hey, and that's a good point because I heard that the Cajun Navy has talked to the media and has told the media, and I forgot which outlet it was, but that they're still willing. They could be there in like I thought he said like 3 days. They could be there to search, and yet they haven't heard anything back from Nanos from the last time. So they made the offer. Nanos obviously didn't take them up, and now look at where everything's at. I don't know why you would turn help away. I just don't get it. Major networks are highly competitive and not the family they pretend to. Oh, I agree with that, J Bug, no doubt. I agree with that 110%. You're exactly right. He's just talking. Not my first rodeo. My doggies are looking for your cat. Hey, shh. Ellie, Alyssa said, nope, he wants to go outside. He does. He does. He wants them little kittens. Down, Bandit. Bandit, down. Get down. Get up here. Come on. Not you, Claire. Bandit. Now lay down. Lay down. Come on. Come on. Now lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. All right. My doggies are looking for your cat. Nope, he wants to go outside. Shout out to the kitties in the house. Yeah, he got quiet. That definitely relaxed him. God, what a couple of little pets do. Robert, you were right. Alyssa, Julia, laughing. Jamie, oh, Bandit, such a cute name. Yeah, we can be a little devil sometimes, and that's why we don't want him to go outside. We're just afraid he's going to attack the little kittens. Brian Etton interviewed someone from Cajun Navy. Maybe that's who did the interview, Marianne. Maybe it was Brian Etton that they told that they would definitely come out, and it would take them like, I want to say like 3 days or something to that effect. And they would come out and they would commence searching. Like they're ready to go. They're just waiting for a call. And they haven't got no call from Nanos. And why? Why? When you have nothing else going? I have no idea. I can't give you that answer. It makes no sense to me why they would do that. No sense whatsoever. You know, the idea that they were making people who wanted to search get a permit. Think about that for a minute, everybody. Nanos wanted everybody to have a permit to go and search. Think about that. How asinine is that? You have people that are volunteering to go out there and search when it first happened. And he was telling people you need to get a permit. Now, I do understand the theory that what he doesn't want is someone to get lost out there in the desert and now you have another person who's missing or is hurt or whatever. I get it. But you don't turn away help when help is wanted, especially when it's the people of your community that you serve, because that shows a lack of gratitude towards the people that are wanting to help. And that's why he finds himself in the mess that he finds himself in. That's why people look at him now like he doesn't care about the people he represents. I almost guarantee you that because I've seen this kind of ridiculous stuff before. So I'm telling you, I get it. You lose confidence of the people that you work for, the people that the town or the city or the state or whatever that you work for. You lose their support, you're done. It's just that simple. It makes you think: does cartel control him? Is it cartel then? If so, what messages would that be sending? You know, at this point, I don't know what motivates him to do these things, make these type of decisions. All I know is that it hurts everybody in the long run, especially the family that are just wanting their mom back. At this point, they would take their mom back just so they can celebrate a life well lived, as Savannah put it. But they can't even get that. You know, they can't even get a life well lived. It makes no sense to me, in all honesty, everybody. Being in law enforcement, serving in law enforcement, serving the people, I can't even begin to think how crazy that is to turn away help. Laughing out, he probably thinks he runs the cartel. He probably does in his own damn mind, no doubt about it, Elisa. No doubt about it. He probably thinks he runs the damn cartel. You know, I don't like putting down other agencies or law enforcement because I've been there. I get it. I know it's tough sometimes, and I know sometimes you just have a hard time, you know, navigating through a lot of these things, and your officers are very inexperienced. I get that. But my God, the one thing you never want to do is turn down help, especially when your community is wanting to help you. You know, once again, that just speaks volume as how they look at you and perceive you, that you don't care about them. You follow me? You don't care about them. And when they get to that point, you're finished. You're finished. That's just that simple. No, I don't either, Marianne. I don't think it has anything to do with cartel either, to be honest. I don't think so. I think this is all just some bad decision making, some lack of a lot of lack of experience, and the bottom line is that you combine all these different variables, and you're going to have these type of outcomes. You know, is there a point that they'll never get her back? I hate to say it, but there is that point that they may never get her remains back. But you got to be smart. You got to make smart decisions. And I know it's easier to sit back and see, but as an officer, when I give you guys information, I'm just giving you like how I would have done, or how I would approached it, or what questions would I have asked, or what scenario, what round would I have taken to go ahead and help try to better. And the very first thing that comes into my mind is, from the very day one, I would have got the FBI involved ASAP. That's a no-brainer. They have unlimited resources, unlimited power. They want the headlines, and that's okay. You can have the headlines, because it's going to save me from a lot of headaches and not being able to find this woman. Literally. I mean, it's just what it is. April says, I still say he is protecting someone involved. And that's very possible. I mean, it's no secret that him and TC had a good relationship. To the reporting that I have read, they have went golfing, they have went fishing, they have a very good rapport. So it's not that out of the norm, no doubt about it. Jamie, that would be so sad not getting a body back. I mean, I couldn't think of a worse thing. But hey, we talk about this case, there's hundreds and thousands of other cases that are happening just like this, if not even worse. And they're not getting this type of coverage. I'm not saying Nancy doesn't deserve it, obviously. I'm just saying everyone deserves it. You know, that's why when you have this much attention being put on a case, you should be willing to do everything you possibly can to find out everything you can to bring this lady home in one way or the other. Just that simple. Carolina girl says, I just watched Brian Enton's last interview. It was really good. I will check it out for sure. Thank you, Carolina girl. Appreciate that. Alley Cat, my mind changes daily. Gotta follow the evidence, and we don't have much information. That is so true. That's the shitty part about investigating cases. It's so hard to get that evidence that you need. And that's why when you all hear specifics given, when people give you specifics, when that happens, you verify those specifics because they can be verified. That's why they're specifics. But when they just give you information, yeah, you can docile and go back and forth and decide, is it worth it? Is it not worth it? But when someone gives you specifics, like Richard did, go verify that. If you figure out and you check the lake and there's nothing in there, guess what? That's one less bozo that you will have to listen to. That's one person out of the equation. That's one person that has nothing to do no more. He's literally out. It's just that simple. And you go on and you move to the next individual. But if you're not going to take the lead in checking out these leads, then what's going to happen is you're never going to know, was she there? Could she have been there? What if I would have responded sooner? Yada, yada, yada. It's just that simple. It really is. April just posted my email. If you got to send me something, there's my email. Thank you, April. Appreciate you. Holly says, yes, Carolina girl. Brian Enton asked great questions. Jamie, just like baby Manuel. No doubt. No doubt. Alley Cat, absolutely, DD. I mean, it's just that simple, everybody. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out. You know, one thing about this channel is you'll always find common sense. You will always look at common sense. Common sense is like almost, if not just as important as knowledge, or in this case, experience. Common sense, because without common sense, you can't see the little integral parts that make the difference. The little things that could change the whole nuance of everything. That's why in this channel, I pride myself in common sense. And then on top of that, I throw my experience in, and then I let it fall, let the chips fall where they may. Rest in peace. Jamie says, rest in peace, Emmanuel Harrow. Jenny, a retired LE that spoke to JLR weeks ago told him that bodies are a dime a dozen on the reserve. That was crazy to hear that. They're all over, Jenny. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. And yes, they are. I mean, it's no secret that, you want to dispose of a body, you take it to the desert. If you live out in, let's just say, Louisiana, you take it to the swamps, right? If you want to go ahead and do that, you just do it, and it's done. That's just how easy it is. So when you have cases like this that you're able to at least get off the ground a little bit and you're on hard ground, man, you do everything you can to make it happen. And yes, you're very right, Jamie. We are not giving up. Quentin, Bravo DD 88. Amen, Quentin. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you. Yeah, that's where it's at, everybody. If you like the channel, subscribe, be a member. Help everybody on this channel, to include myself, become more smarter. Bring your knowledge to the table. Bring your ideas to the table. You would be surprised how people can learn from one another on what is the big picture and what is it really saying. Jamie, I have to run. Is that okay to help my kid? You got it, Jamie. You have a good one. No doubt about it. Thank you for all your help. Appreciate you, and welcome. Welcome to the Moderate family. April, who takes an 84-year-old woman and she disappears into the air? It's just so sad. It is so sad that this is what goes on in our country today. I mean, it's been going on forever. Let's not kid ourselves. But an 84-year-old woman, come on. That just I don't know. That goes above and beyond, no doubt. J-Bug says this case is sort of a perfect storm. A lack of security, and abundance of incompetence. And they couldn't have said that better. No doubt about it, J-Bug. Right on the money. You too, guys. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow at 9. Have a good one, or whenever you're available. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless. Have a good night. Enjoy the family. Alley Cat. Be safe, Jamie. April. They found an 82-year-old woman 2 miles from Nancy less than 72 hours. Yeah. And I heard she had Alzheimer's. She just wandered off, and they found her in no time. It just makes no sense. It's like, I don't get it sometimes. It's so baffling. That is so true. Click that like, everybody. Hit those like buttons. Get those emojis going. Guys, hit those emojis. Send the hearts. It's going to build the algorithms. More people are going to see it, and more people are going to come in. And the more people we get, the smarter we all become. Just that simple, everybody. Marianne, the lady wandered off. Yeah, what they said, she had Alzheimer's. She wandered off, and they ended up finding her. They need to put trackers on people with Alzheimer's. They need to really, if you're going to have somebody living in your home and they got Alzheimer's, you definitely want to be able to have something on them that you're going to be able to locate. You know what I mean? I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but it really doesn't in the big grand scheme of things. No doubt about it. Gregory Wall says, what is your email address? Can one of you mods April, one of you mods, go ahead and put my email address for Gregory Walsh. There it is, Gregory. One of my mods just took care of that. April Ward just put out my email. There you go, Greg. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, April. Way to be on top of it, no doubt. Lisa Page is in the house. Good to have you, Lisa. What else we got, everybody? Alley Cat. Hello, Lisa. Marianne, Gregory, just because Nancy is 84 doesn't mean she is in Florida in the villages. Just say it, says Marianne. Oh, that's funny. Lisa with the heart. Lisa Page. So that's a lot of what's happening. I mean, that's pretty much in a nutshell. I guess Sleuth is going on tonight, late. I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch that because that's real late for me on the East Coast. Um, but we'll try to get as much as I can. And look, these people they do a good job. Everybody does a good job, no doubt about it. The people who are out there looking for Nancy, literally searching. I'm not talking about just reporting, but searching. Those people, they bring something to the table, and they're just hoping. And maybe it's because hey, there's a lot of money out there, or maybe just because they just want to find her. Either or is a good reason, no doubt about it. But the idea that people are just literally um, her neighbors are reluctant to have anybody there. I get it. It's a mess right now. Not in a mess that's dirty, but in a mess as in, so many people, and she has been gone for so long that yeah, at some point you do want to get on with your life. April in Pennsylvania, PA. I'll watch the replay too late. Yeah, I agree with that, April. I agree with that. I used to work in PA too in the engineer work for the oil fields. I used to do a lot of that right there in PA. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Could you remind me what they have taken Luke Daly? Could you remind me if they have taken Luke? I think they have everything they need from Luke Daly because he is a felon. He is a felon, so they would have all the information they need due to the fact that he is a felon, a convicted felon, to my understanding. Now, you know, if I'm wrong, hey, I'll be the first one to say I'm wrong, but I'm almost positive he is a felon. He's been charged with drug charges. Um, you very welcome, Ellie. Yeah, and so with that, I mean, the idea that literally they would have everything they need, but that DNA is DNA. You can get that in many sources. But as a felon, you're going to jail. You're going to probably be incarcerated. They're going to have your DNA. So when they run it through CODIS, it's going to come up. If your DNA is anywhere around a victim, get down, bandit. Get down. If your DNA is anywhere around the victim, they're going to see it. Lay down. Lay down. They're going to see it. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Lay down. Lay down. You're very welcome. No doubt about it, Ellie. Click that like, everybody. Do me that favor. Tomorrow, we'll be talking some more about what we find out tonight. I'll be looking at some videos and see what they talk about. Still can't always ignore other cases like I said, the one in California. Joanne Ruth Shields, the 37-year-old that became unalived out there. in the trails up there by Big Sur area. You know, that's a sad situation. I haven't heard any updates. I've been following that, as well as the case here in Ohio. They do have obviously the person arrested as the suspect. They did charge him with the 200 lies, 4 counts of 200 living two individuals here in Columbus, Ohio. But we're still waiting to see how that plays out in court. So I'm just keeping that up to speed and see what's going on there. I mean, there's a lot of cases everywhere, everybody. There's so many cases everywhere. But, doing this kind of stuff, you really try to just do as much as you can. Because I'll be honest, that sometimes it gets overloaded, and you can really start taking things really personal. And that's not my cup of tea. That is just not my cup of tea. So just know that for whatever it's worth. April says like and subscribe. Dee has great input and in chat lots of info. Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate you, Lisa. Marianne, Lisa Page, thank you for you earlier. You guys doing a magnificent job, every one of you. Even look, moderators. I put moderators in because it just gives them the ability when I see a lot of interaction and what they bring to the table. But every one of you guys could be moderators. I'm going to be switching it up just so that people get a little taste of a little bit, and because that's the thing. You want to just go ahead and make sure everybody has a voice. Right now we have, several moderators, and, they do a great job, and, not that they'll never do, they'll always do a great job. And then we'll rotate them out. But I appreciate everyone in this chat. You guys are amazing. You know your shit, you do your homework, you know, and you literally try to really do the right thing. And that's all that matters. Doesn't matter everywhere else. As long as you try to do the right thing, put out the information correctly, that's all that matters. Tina, hello to the kitty. Laughing out loud. Yeah, that kitty wants to go out, but he can't because there's some little kitties, real little kitties, that just became born, and we're just afraid that he may harm one of them. So yes, thank you, Lisa. Appreciate it. Everyone appreciates you, Dee Dee. Hey, I just try to give you guys info from a perspective of law enforcement. You guys do the major work, and hey, all you guys, you fact check, you do some things, you look at things on real time. That's important. That is important because there's so many things that I cannot do while I'm doing this. And when you guys are checking stuff real time, it goes a long way. It goes a long way. Sarah Huda says thank you. You very welcome, Sarah. You very welcome. Yeah, I love this channel because it gives me a way to give back to everybody else. It gives me a way to to share what I know and combine that with what you guys know, makes us that bigger and solid of a team. So always keep that in mind. This channel is not, it's not bigger than any one of us. And we're not bigger than this channel. We are what makes this channel work. Literally. And that's what you got to remember. We're all a piece of the puzzle. Pass out this information to your streamers, to your viewers, to your people that you talk to. Talk about, the stream. If you like the stream, tell them, hey, man, this is a good stream. You need to follow this guy, or you need to follow us, blah, 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 blah. Maybe has the father. Do we have homework for tonight? All I can tell you is get and look at everything you can look at, because there is not a lot out there. So sometimes when there's not a lot out there, we got to find it. We have to find it. That's what tenacious devil dogs do. And in your case, it's tenacious devil pups do. The tenacity of literally trying to find any little bit can make a difference between one to another. All it takes is for someone to see it, right? If the right people see it, the right outcomes happen. If the right people don't see it, the right outcomes don't happen. It's just that simple. So we need to do what we can. I will do what I can. You guys do what you can. And from there, we'll let the chips fall where they may. But as of right now, we are growing. We are growing big. We are starting to grow. I mean, we've been growing for the last few weeks, but yeah, we're there. Just need a little bit more. Thank you, dogs and pugs. Daphne's case file. Yes, great info. You may want to check it out. Daphne's case file. I will do that, Sarah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. 5 W's plus 1 H. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Those are the key elements, guys. If you can figure the who, what, where, when, and why, you got the case solved. You need those 5 elements. A law enforcement needs those 5 elements. Anybody who's searching and doing a case needs those 5 elements. Thank you, Alley Cat, for putting that out there. Who, what, where, when, and why. Find those, you got the case. Remember that. Who, what, where, when, and why. With that, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and end the live. Thank you so much. Appreciate you all. I'm going to kind of relax and try to regroup and get to doing some work. Big Kudos says, hang on, everybody. Big Kudos says, there is a truck in my neighborhood that is, I believe he said, is 72 to 73 low body Chevrolet C10 truck. Look much like the truck that one of the streamers had seen. Is that Sleuth maybe that's seen it? That's seen in Nancy's neighborhood. Take a picture of that, Big Kudos. If you get a chance, take a picture of it. If you're able to get a picture, take a picture and send it to everybody. By all means, you got my email. Send it to me as well if you like. Thank you for that info. Hit the like button, please. Before you leave, hit the like button. Click the like. Appreciate all of you. Thank you. Sarah, have a safe night. You too, everybody. Carolina girl, have a good night. Marianne, have a great night. All of you, big kudos. Thank you so much. With that, remember, it's all common sense. Everything is common sense. Semper Fi, everybody.